Mediadawgs, they're hip and they're cool, they're nobody's fool. They know the story in your town, cause George and Lou have been around. Mediadawgs, we're looking at you to see what you do. We'll give you a yes or no, but the bad movie's gotta go. Mediadawgs, we're in your TV, we heard that CD. Some people call us movie dogs. That's wrong. Just as long as they'll be singing our song. Mediadawgs, Mediadawgs.
We were talking about Stuckies.
Yeah.
And that's cool. That's awesome.
Now it's backwards to me. Is it backwards to you?
No, it looks totally right to me.
Okay, then I'm just gonna leave it, and I have the technology. I can fix it. I can rebuild it.
Can rebuild it.
We have the technology. We can rebuild him. RoboPat.
Yes. Okay, I'm done.
Oh, I thought we already started.
Oh, we did? Okay, good.
Oh, no, I'm joking. It's the Mediadawgs humor. So we've got 106 views on that, baby.
That's good.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's
awesome.
more than watch the original show combined, right?
You're right. So not to burst your bubble, but let me go into the details here. Well, I'm not going to read it because I already know it. So retention drops off after about the average is 5 minutes and 43 seconds.
Ah, well,
People just wanted to say hi.
yeah.
But then it picks. If you look at the graph, we've actually leveled out. So we're that's good. I'm joking because the graph that we all
got it. Yeah, we're flattening the curve.
Yeah,
We'll flatten the curve.
Is it too soon for the COVID-19 jokes? Probably.
No, we need COVID-19 jokes.
No, matter of fact, one of the things I was going to talk about was, do you guys know who Randy Rainbow is?
Oh, I love Randy Rainbow. We saw him at the Genesee Theater.
Oh wow, he's brilliant. But he just posted a spoonful of bleach makes the COVID go down video. That's really funny. I just shared it.
My Tressa loves him. He was on an episode of Better Things, and he was great.
Yeah. That was an awesome episode. That was the New Orleans one. Yeah, that was. It's a great show. She is so beyond amazing.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
First on my list.
Yeah,
Hey,
there you
great.
go.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, but Better Things is just like week in and week out. She tries different things, and there's no. Again, I don't want to invoke I suppose I shouldn't invoke Louis C.K., but they're pals, and she's certainly heavily influenced by him in that there's no Bible to the story kind of thing. It's just she just does what she wants, and it's always hilarious, and sometimes always great, but sometimes just out of the park brilliant, like the New Orleans episode this season.
Yeah,
New Orleans episode was great.
And not always hilarious. I mean, sometimes moving.
Yeah. Totally can be moving. There's no, I don't know. It's hard to explain. There's no like consistency in terms of, this is my mother, this is my daughter, and them actually, and Louis started this, but there's no, it's not even necessarily like they're of the same descent. They're African American daughter, and no sign of that in their genes. That kind of thing. So it's interesting.
I love Louis' show. I mean, I when it was revealed how he was treating people, it was I hated that because I loved his shows. He was putting out it's great work. It's still great. But
Yeah.
too bad, you know. I mean, he couldn't. I mean, that's a whole other issue. But yeah, what do you? The only thing with Better Things, I I feel like it's wonderful in how it presents characters that I just want to scream at, but yet I'm still emotionally connected to, like the daughter. Sometimes the daughter is
Oh,
like
yeah.
the oldest daughter. I just want to go, oh my God, treat her better. But that last episode I wasn't crazy about. That's probably the only episode that I watched that I didn't go, wow, that was so
You know
good.
what? That's so funny, Pat. That was my reaction too. I'm glad to hear that because yeah, I'm like out of the box. Like I can't talk enough about how great the show is. And then
Yeah.
last week's episode was just like it hit a brick wall for me somehow. I
Are
don't
you
know
talking
why.
about the Bat Mitzvah Quinceanera one?
The one where they're having the howl. Maybe I'm not at the
Oh,
last one.
you
The
guys
one
are
where
fine.
all the women are together having kind of the howl where they burn
Yeah.
the.
Yeah, we're one off, Pat.
What, Luke?
So for us, that's yeah. I haven't watched this week's, but the one with the ladies. Just
What was your problem with it? Because I have a hard time articulating what I didn't care about. I think I do. I think I have an idea, but I want to. What do you
I
think?
just kind of put it off on maybe I just couldn't connect with what they were dealing with their relationships and stuff. It just it
Well,
seemed
I have to admit. George, go ahead.
Oh, I opened a. Sorry, I'm too.
Oh, okay. I have to
edit that out.
it may be part of the gender politics of the show, which I love, but I felt a little, I don't know. She keeps on saying, several characters throughout the episode say all mothers are single mothers.
yeah.
And when Pamela's character says it, I'm like, okay, that, and certainly for her situation, it was true. But then I was a little offended because I'm like, is that true? I mean, are there no responsible fathers ever in the world? But
Right.
I thought, I don't like that. But then she had her mother say it, which of course, everything her mother says, you have to be immediately suspect of.
Right.
All right. So I'm thinking, and also she had that scene where the guy she's ripping on says, do you know my story? So I think she's working that in. My real problem with that episode is that at some point she has to grapple with the economic privilege that these people have. When was the
Right.
last time we saw her work?
Yeah. No. Again, I don't. If you start going down that road with all these shows, who
Yeah,
knows where
that's true.
anybody's money's coming from. But
That's
so
true.
I didn't want to go too deep on it, but it does bring up a good point. I always watch with my wife who doesn't watch a whole lot of TV, but she really likes Better Things. And I never got around to asking her what she thought of that episode. Because again, I just wondered if it was a disconnect because I'm a guy and I didn't understand it.
Yeah, maybe I was just offended. Maybe I was like, no, come on. Maybe I was just having a knee-jerk reaction. I don't know. But man, it is a great show. It's one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny to me that the two best shows in production right now are Better Things and Better Call Saul, and everything that has "better" in the title.
I wish I gotta watch Breaking Bad so I can watch Better Call Saul.
Yeah, this season of Saul just ended, season 5. Did you watch, George? It was the best. It was so I couldn't.
Did I watch Better Call Saul?
Yeah.
I think I'm on the 3rd episode.
This season took my breath away. It was so amazing.
Man, I gotta watch that. I can't believe I haven't watched Breaking Bad. I got some big holes in my TV history background.
When I rewatched Breaking Bad, I liked it better than I did the first time. I didn't love it the first time. I still don't like love it, but I certainly liked it enough that I loved Bob Odenkirk as Saul and
He's so awesome.
Jonathan Banks, who's also on Better Call Saul.
He's great. I remember Odenkirk's early stand-up comedy work, which was phenomenal, bizarre, experimental.
Yeah, he came through the Second City main stage when I was in training center. Before I worked there, I was just in training center. One summer he came and did main stage. That's the first time I remember seeing him.
I love it.
Long time ago. Long time ago.
Mr. Show fan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we went to see Odenkirk and David Cross live. There's a place called Largo here in LA.
Yeah, great comedy club, right?
Yeah, and they did a night there recently.
How was that?
Within the last year. Oh, it was great. Having the two of them live and doing their shtick was really cool.
I'll put a plug in. I saw a while ago. I'm sorry. I didn't know we were going to talk about this. I would have had their names. The guy from Silicon Valley and John Ralphio from.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They do a live improv show.
Yeah.
That if you have a chance to see it,
Who's that? Middleditch?
Middleditch in. I can't think of the name. Yeah, he's Schwartz. So good. They, you know how the first rule of improv is yes and, you know, they totally. It's like watching two like pro athletes who decide to play one-on-one, but can trip each other. So they actually do improv as yes but. So like one will set up a situation like, I'm a ghost, and like the other will go, you're 16 different ghosts? They'll go, yes, I am 16 different ghosts. And they'll up the ante of difficulty on each other constantly, and it's really funny. They're just messing with each other constantly. It was pretty brilliant to see them go at it. They were incredible.
Yeah, I think they do that show at Largo sometimes too. I'll have to go see it. I saw Jeff Garlin does a show there, and I saw it right after Gary Shandling had passed away, and so that was the first time Judd Apatow appeared there, and he read jokes out of Gary Shandling's notebook, which he's since turned into a book, I think, that you can buy.
Man, Shandling.
But yeah, I just did we talk about? I hope I didn't say this last. I just rewatched the Larry Sanders Show recently, and it's just as amazing this time through.
And go back and watch the Gary Shandling Show, one of the first kind of meta sitcoms, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I keep hearing people talk about that, and I haven't watched it in a long time. I want to go back to that as well. Shandling is great.
Oh yeah, when he passed away, I wasn't ready for I didn't know anything about him, but how wonderful of a person he was.
Oh yeah, people. I mean, it's a combination of maybe the most neurotic guy in show business and also everybody's best friend.
Yeah.
It was cool. When I brought up Garland, I also wanted to say that I know there's been some ups and downs, but this past season of Curb Your Enthusiasm was one of its best. Somehow he ignited that spark, and there's an episode with John Hamm that's as funny as anything they've done the whole run.
Yeah, I love that show. I don't watch I don't watch a lot of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but I read about a recent episode that was praised greatly when one of the characters tries to come out to his father who's in prison. And I have to say that one was really funny and surprisingly moving. Like for a show that's always cynical and almost nihilistically so, it shocks you when they hit you with something actually emotionally valid,
Yeah, it's funny because I haven't seen it much either, and I've watched a couple and liked them. But there's another classic, the water park one. Did you ever see that?
No.
When they all go to the water park, kind of with Danny DeVito leading the way. Seek that out. I don't remember what season it is, but I'm sure if you look it up, it'll come up because I'm sure it's very popular. It's really, really funny. I'm not going to describe what they do because if I tried to put this in the words right here, they'd take us off the air.
Got it.
Not that anybody,
Brian,
I'm still a big Bob's Burgers fan.
Pardon?
I'm still a big Bob's Burgers fan.
Oh, I never got into that. George, do you watch?
No.
I love it. It's one of my favorite shows ever of all time.
I've never seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia either. But I got to tell you, there's some sort of affiliation between that show and a show that I absolutely love called AP Bio.
Oh yeah. The dude.
Oh yeah, how was that? Was that any good?
I thought it was great. It was hilarious.
It got canceled, right?
I don't know.
I know it's somewhere. They put it somewhere else on some streaming thing or something. I don't.
Oh, I'll have to look for it.
Had a good cast.
I haven't watched it, but it's funny because I know it's supposed to take place in Toledo, which is where I'm from. So I keep wanting to watch it. It's supposed to be at Toledo High School because the guy who created it's from Toledo.
Whenever I watched that, I felt like I was in Toledo, or at least driving through.
In Toledo with Patton Oswalt.
In Maumee, or how's that pronounced, by the way?
You know, it's funny because I always said, let me see if I can do this. It's always been Maumee to me, Maumee. But I remember when I was hanging out or working at a comedy club, and comics would come through there, and they'd want to know about the surrounding towns. And I kept hearing people call it Maumee. And so that might be correct, Maumee, because that's how they were being told to pronounce it. But, you know, who knows? Ask somebody from Toledo. If there's anybody from Toledo out there watching.
There could be. All I know is that whenever I drive out to Massachusetts or upstate New York, it's always kind of a drag to be going through Toledo because I've got so much more driving to do. So anyway, not that I don't love Ohio.
But
I'm trying to. What is? Oh, better things. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's okay to like feel like you know, it's kind of a sexist jolt. Like when all those women were, you know, presenting feelings that women have. It's okay to go. You know, Pat, you're the instructor. Aren't we learning when we have these feelings?
Yeah, knowledge is disruptive. I'm borrowing that from Martin Lay, one of my friends and colleagues.
Did you say disruptive or destructive?
Disruptive.
Oh, okay. Okay. Good.
Although I don't like the fetishization of that word anymore, where everybody wants to be a disruptor. You know, I'm like, how about creating something? You know, but you know, knowledge. You know, Martin's told me. I think he was, you know, influenced by another critic, and he said, as teachers, we think we're opening their minds, and it's always this beautiful thing. And a lot of times, you learn stuff, it bothers you and disturbs you and messes with you, and you got to figure out how to reconcile things, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's better. So speaking of that, I finished Discovery.
Oh.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I was only like a little way through the first, and every time Michael cries,
sorry,
that weakling, that weak character.
I'm sorry. I'm like, just stop making her cry.
It didn't bother me. It still didn't bother me. I mean, that show is more about being human than anything. I think. I mean,
it's a good show. It's not a great show, but I think it's a good show.
Yeah, solid.
There's a lot of not great sci-fi out there. There's a lot of good sci-fi right now. Like I like it's cheesy, but I like the Lost in Space show.
I do too, and it's not good. I don't think, but I love it.
But I love it. For something about it, I just love. I don't know. I love the characters. I love the actors, and I know it's not good, but I'll watch it.
Plus, anytime you're gonna drag Parker Posey in to be Dr. Smith, you got my vote.
Well, that's what I was. I did enjoy the first season. I started the second season and kind of stopped. So I guess I'll go back. But the one thing that's undeniable is Parker Posey as Dr. Smith is awesome casting. I talked to somebody, a friend, and they were like, they hated her in it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? She's like,
supposed to hate her.
Yeah.
And love her, you know, and kind of feel for her. Yeah, I mean, I love the robot too. I think the robot's a great design. It's funny that people are like really sexually obsessed with the robot. They write these sort of erotic fictions about the robot.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Gosh.
Really?
Oh yeah. There's all this stuff about how hot the robot is, and yeah, I don't know. Boy, it's interesting. good for you, I guess. You know what I mean? I'm like, I've got no problems with that. I mean,
Well, that changes the whole dynamic between Will and the robot. Then
yeah, I mean,
that's a road we shouldn't go down.
I don't think they ever like write about him and the robot. I think they just write about the robot as this sort of erotic figure.
Mm.
I think that's how they design his body, as this sort of sinewy kind of thing. You know.
Wow, that's above my pay grade.
And also, he's this sort of male figure learning to love, and that's such a common trope for for everything.
Before I forget, something I wanted to bring up just as a talking point, just because it happened so recently. I know we've been losing a lot of actors, but Brian Dennehy passed away the other day, and man, was there anybody that was more the epitome of just solid actor in everything, no matter what he was in?
Always great. You know, I can't think of a bad performance.
It's funny because it made me start. The thing I ended up focusing on was how great he was in Silverado. You guys saw Silverado, right?
I want to watch Silverado again. I know it must be, I'm sure it would really come off super 80s, but I bet it's fun. Is it fun?
Yeah, it's not like super 80s like Young Guns 80s. It captures that Western feel more. But
yeah,
gosh, you know, Brian Dennehy, just in everything in that, and you know, even in Tommy Boy or Cocoon, like who better for Cocoon, right? Than that dude was the main alien. You know,
I'll have to go back and do like an 80s rewind on some of those movies I loved of him, that like Silverado, FX.
Yeah, FX, him and Brian Brown.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Wow.
I wonder how well it holds up, you know.
But I just saw, I happen to, I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy, and just watched what may have been Dennehy's last film called 3 Days with Dad, which was written and directed by this actor, Larry Clark. I'm going to leave it up to to George to maybe pop up his face, but Larry's a character guy that you'd recognize, who oddly enough, he's done a ton of stuff, but he was like this, if you were really into watching, especially the early days of Law and Order, he was like this random cop on Law and Order that would always bring him the file folders or say this is what's going on kind of thing. But he's done a ton of stuff, including, and I know, Pat, you haven't seen season 3 of Twin Peaks, but George, he was one of the Fusco brother cops. Remember Dave Koechner and the 2 other cops that were brothers? So Larry Clark was the grounded one, which oddly enough, he plays Dennehy's son in this 3 Days with Dad, which he wrote and directed. But it's actually a good match because they kind of got that same presence to them. Because the other 2 Fuscos were kind of, you know, one was Dave Koechner, and which, you know, is always funny, and then the other dude was just always laughing all the time and funny. But anyways. I saw that and got an extra bump of Dennehy recently, but I just wanted to point that out and really like just go to his. It's easier to just go to his IMDb and seek some stuff out if you're not that familiar with Dennehy, and see just what an amazing actor he was. I don't know if his Death of a Salesman is on video or not, but
must be phenomenal, right?
Yeah, so. You know, it's kind of a different take too, because he's kind of got a stronger persona, right? Because Willie's pretty beat down, but I've seen some good production. We were talking about Stratford earlier, George, I guess before we got on the Stratford Festival. But years ago, I got to see Nehemiah Persoff do Death of a Salesman at Stratford, which was amazing, with Kim Hunter, you know, from Planet of the Apes. And then recently, like in the last year, a theater I take class and stuff at here did a production with Rob Morrow from Northern Exposure and Numbers, you know.
Yeah, how is he?
He's great. He was amazing as Willie. And then this actress again, you have to look her up, but her name's Lee Garlington. She's been in like 200 things on IMDb, but she played Linda, the wife, and just phenomenal. But so I've seen a couple great productions, but definitely, I mean, I guess it skews closer to the Dustin Hoffman version, but but Dennehy, amazing.
I'd love to see Dennehy because he'd be such a different Willie than Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so some cool stuff, but I did love Dennehy. No, go ahead.
Just trying to get I saw him more than 30 years ago at the Goodman in The Iceman Cometh.
Oh, wow. Yeah. How was that?
That was a legendary show.
Oh, it was fantastic. And then on the way back to the train, I stopped off at the Crocs and Ritanos at 29 South Wabash and bought a book about REM. I remember that day very well, and I read a lot of it on the train on the way home. But no, it was fantastic. I used to love that old Goodman Theater. I love the new one too, by the way. And they're streaming. But my wife bought a ticket late yesterday afternoon, and we still haven't gotten an email for it yet. So we're it's not like you can either we messed up, but we've been buying streaming tickets for stuff, and like you get it immediately if you want it, and then you usually have like 48 hours to watch whatever. But this one we haven't heard back from them yet. So Goodman, if you're out there watching, get back to my wife. I can't remember the name of the play, but it was something girls, bad girls or something. That sounds bad.
Are you sure this was the Goodman Theater?
Oh yeah,
not Pornhub.
Naughty. That would have been Naughty Girls. That's available immediately, apparently.
Naughty Bad Girls. Hey, speaking of online shows and stuff, are you guys familiar with Seth Rudetsky? He does the Broadway show on or the Broadway channel on Sirius XM. He has a show.
Never heard of him.
He's been doing a thing online that benefits the Actors Fund, but he is live streaming. He'll get Broadway actors from their homes, and they'll do some conversation and some singing. So he'll do 2 shows a day. One show will be that, and then his second show of the day, he'll bring together reunions of casts like Dallas and China Beach and different shows like that. He actually did SCTV, like he had Martin Short and Gene Levy and Catherine O'Hara and
those guys. God, I love those guys.
Somebody else was on too. But anyway, so it's a lot of fun. But Seth is, a Broadway dude, and you get to get some good music and stuff. And they're just trying to get money for the Actors Fund from that. People from England.
I'm going to watch tonight. That's that too, with some Broadway stars.
Oh yeah, that's tonight or tonight.
I think this is a smaller one. I don't know, with the 4 women, or is there something else?
I think there's a big one tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 26th.
Tomorrow. Yeah, I'll give you if George, you want to post the other one, because it has a couple alums from Zach's high school.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Gabby, I just love her very much. So she's great.
Yeah, I was lucky that I was just in New York in January and got to see some Broadway and some fun stuff. But
Schoolgirls.
Well, there you go. Bad girls, naughty girls.
That's just what my mind made it into.
Schoolgirls.
Or the African Mean Girls play.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, cool.
So, haven't heard back from him yet. But speaking of Stratford, speaking of Dennehy, blah, 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 rewind. Stratford's putting like every week or every 2 weeks, they're putting a play up on their YouTube channel. And it's Lear right now with Comfiore. and it's free.
Ooh.
Can't beat the price.
Yeah, I'm going to seek that out. I think that's exciting to me. I can't believe, I guess the last time I was at Stratford was with you, George, and that's like
Wow.
25 years ago.
You should get back. It's
I'm going to do it online at least.
it's still great. Here, I'll tell you what it is. We didn't have computers that are ready last time we did the show. Not last time, but the time before. It's Stratford Festival /videos, youtube.com, http:// no, I'm just kidding. Remember that? http://
Yeah.
um,
www.
we didn't even have DVDs when we did the show. Like when we did our last, back then, there weren't even DVDs.
Yeah.
We were talking about laser discs and where to get good laser discs.
Oh, yeah.
I just gave my Laserdisc player to somebody and a bunch of laser discs. I still had them. I kept one.
What'd you keep?
My Evil Dead 2, because it's blood red. I had to keep that one.
I still have mine. Up in
People
the
collect
attic.
them.
What?
People collect them.
Do they?
Yeah.
Lead me to them. I'd love to sell mine off.
You can just go on eBay, man. There are people want them.
Oh, okay. I sell all my VHS. Well, not all of them, but a lot of the VHS too. And people apparently like those now again.
That's weird. Yeah, I don't have anything left. The only reason I wish I had my laser discs still is just to remind me what I owned, because I can't even remember exactly what I owned, but I had a ton of them.
Also, speaking of free theater on YouTube, I don't know if it was YouTube, but and I don't even know, it was in England. I don't know if it was London or not. It was probably London. Tamsin Greig, you guys familiar with her? She was in Black Books and Episodes. Did you watch Episodes, for crying out loud? And if not, why not?
I watched some.
Okay, well, she's the woman. I don't know. She's you know her if you see her. Anyway, she plays in 12th Night, and that's free. And I haven't watched it yet, but I'll put the link up. And I probably should be putting the links so that you can copy and paste them too, instead of just putting them on screen. So I'll try to do that. I've been awfully busy. I think we talked about how we've all been way busier since this all started than a lot of people. But we still do our duty to our media fans.
Yep. We got to find the time.
That's right. Someone's got to do it. Someone's got to watch that stuff.
Speaking of the time we're in, I actually wanted to, we'd said earlier, is it too soon? But I had a couple, I was going to say films, but a film and a TV show that I think are appropriate for the time if you haven't seen them. I wanted to get you guys to do the same if you have them. But I'll start by saying, because when people were talking about their dystopian or apocalyptic movie kind of thing, the first thing that came to mind for me was 12 Monkeys.
And nobody brings that up.
Yeah, it's weird.
You're right. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
Because it's a great movie, but it's also specifically about somebody releasing a virus, onto humanity kind of thing. So I won't go deeper than that, but because it's kind of a mystery.
But to watch 12 Monkeys, you got to watch Vertigo first.
Oh, yeah. That's a great point.
Watch Hitchcock's Vertigo and then watch 12 Monkeys, and that's a great boom.
Yeah, because it really helps if, it's a great boom. It certainly helps if you already love Vertigo. Like I love Vertigo, and then I saw 12 Monkeys.
But that's not my favorite Hitchcock.
What is your guys' favorite Hitchcock?
Favorite Hitchcocks? Go. Give me your top 3, top 5.
Rear Window, Psycho. Oh gosh, Psycho 2. No, I'm kidding. I hated that film. And it wasn't his anyway. I'm joking.
Oh wait. Haven't we ever had that discussion? I love Psycho 2. I like I'm about to say Psycho in my top 5, and I like Psycho 2 better than Psycho.
Oh,
Really?
it was so
I
bad.
love it. I love it.
Even
so
as a
much.
young person, I hated it.
No, I even
I
watched
don't remember it very well. I remember a little bit. I remember the ending, and that's about it.
I even watched it very recently, and it completely holds up. Anthony Perkins is so good.
I read something about that recently, that he's really good in it.
Yeah.
I'd have to go North by Northwest, Rear Window,
yes.
Strangers on a Train, Psycho, and then maybe I can remember. Oh no, Rope. I've become a big fan of Rope.
Yeah, Rope's great.
And I love the one with Joseph Cotton too, where he's the uncle. But I never can remember the title.
Is that
Hitchcock?
Shadow of a Doubt.
Shadow of a Doubt. Yeah.
Oh, that's right up there too for me. Yeah.
But I think Strangers on a Train is like unbelievable. But
Charlie.
Yeah, Rear Window though I think is the best one. Like that's got to be up in my top 1 or 2, I think. But I love North by Northwest. That's my favorite.
You know, why am I slipping on his name? Gurney Cinema guy.
Dan Chapp.
Thank you, Dan Chapp. When he had the series, I finally got to see Rear Window on the big screen, and that changed my my feeling about that film. Seeing it on the big screen, I was like, yeah, it's a good film, but you know what a creep that Jimmy Stewart is. But when I saw it on the big screen, I was like, wow, Grace Kelly. You know.
No, that's.
I don't
my God! How he introduces her in that film is just incredible. That weird, like almost slow motion thing, and that the oh yeah, I love her. I love her in that movie.
I just saw it on the big screen too. I took Lily to see it.
Really?
On the local theater here not too long ago.
Seen it on the big screen. I'd love to see that big.
It's great, but yeah, I actually, I guess more than you guys, I love Vertigo. So, but I think North by Northwest is like a perfect film, right? The script and
it really is.
And everything. So North by Northwest and Vertigo and Rear Window, and even with me being the only guy in this room who likes Psycho 2 better, Psycho is in the top 5. And you know what else? And I love all those movies, Rope, Strangers on a Train, Shadow of a Doubt. But I just have a soft spot in my heart for The Birds. I love The Birds. It might have been my first Hitchcock film, and so I just have always loved The Birds.
And I love 39 Steps. I think that's a great one. It's not one of my favorites, but boy, there's a lot. I haven't seen Saboteur. I haven't seen a lot of them.
Yeah, it's just I've seen that. I had my whole string. I just instead of talking about it in terms of best movies, I usually it's easier for me to just point out that my favorite directors are Lynch, Hitchcock, and Robert Altman. Because even with Altman, I struggle to say which one's my favorite.
Bless you, by the way. And kudos on.
Yes, the cover. He did the cover.
On Shortcuts.
Shortcuts is amazing.
It's probably my favorite Altman.
You know, you can't.
I need to watch more Altman.
I can't find Shortcuts anywhere. I've been trying to show it here in the home, and it's not streaming anywhere.
Did you go to the library?